So thank you for joining the session, and this is the mega revision series that we are conducting, that EduTap is conducting for you for your better preparation for the SEBI Grade A 2024. Okay, so I hope you are going to be ready for this series, and you are ready for today's question. So this is the part 2. This is the part 2 for the economics session. Okay, so let's start with the questions. We are going to continue with our series. We are going to continue with the session, and this is the mega revision series where we are bringing the 6 subjects. First, economics we have started with, and in this we are going to do 100 questions nearly, and then we are going to continue with the other subjects also, so you are prepared for the examination. Okay, so let's start with the session without any delay now. And before starting with the session, do subscribe to the YouTube channel and join our Telegram channel, and the PDF of this session you will get in the Telegram channel. The link of the Telegram channel is provided in the description box below. So let's start with today's session. So this is the first question. I hope you will be easily able to answer this question. Okay, so try to answer this question, that which of the following statement is inconsistent with the Say's law. So which of the following statement is inconsistent with the Say's law? Good evening everyone, good evening, welcome to the session. So start with the question now. So I hope you will be able to answer this question. Okay, I am getting the answer B. Okay, yes, very good, very good. So economy has flexible wages and prices, so this is correct. See, inconsistent with Say's law, that means which of the following statement is inconsistent with the classical theory, because the JB Say was a classical economist and he has given the Say's law, that is supply creates its own demand. Supply creates its own demand, right? So this is given by JB Say, and JB Say is a classical economist. So as per classical economics, there are the flexible wages and prices. The wage and the prices are flexible. The economy's level of investment solely depends on the rate of interest. So as per the classical economists, the savings and the investment, they both depend upon the rate of interest. They both depend upon the rate of interest. The economy will produce at full employment. So this is correct actually, that the classical economist believed that the economy produces at the full employment level. The production is happening at the full employment level. Okay, the economy has an environment of laissez-faire. Laissez-faire means that there is the freedom in the market. There is the freedom in the market. Okay, the government intervention should not be there in the market. Laissez-faire means that the government should not interfere, or there should be minimum interference of the government in the market, in the economy. The market, it is self-adjusting, and that should be left. Okay, classical economists advocated the wage reduction to reduce the unemployment level and reach full employment. So that is correct, that we will see. So here the first, third, fourth and fifth statements are correct. Only the second statement was wrong, because here it should be the interest rate. It should be interest rate, that the investment depends upon the interest rate. Okay, so I hope this is clear. The wage price flexibility is one of the assumptions. The classicals also believe that there is the perfect competition in the labor and the product market, as well as classicals believe that the saving and the investment, they both depend upon the rate of interest. So if the rate of interest is increasing, if the interest rate is increasing, savings is increasing, savings will increase. If the interest rate is decreasing, savings will decrease. Okay, because if interest rate is high, you will save more. If the interest rate is low, you will save less. So this is the idea of the classical economist. Now, so that's why with the interest rate, saving curve is upward sloping. The saving is upward sloping. So remember this very clearly, that with the interest rate, the savings slope upward. Now with the interest rate, the investment slopes downward, because when the interest rate is low, when the interest rate is declining, you will invest more. You will invest more. There will be more investment that you will do. When the interest rate is high, you will take your investment will be low. So this is the idea. That's why the investment is inversely related to the interest rate, and the savings is positively related to the interest rate. I hope this is clear. Now if there is unemployment in the economy, okay, if there is unemployment in the economy, so this is your demand for labor. If the wages are high, you will demand less labor or high labor. So you have to tell me that if the real wages are high, will you demand more laborers or will you demand less laborers? So anyone can tell me? So you will demand less laborers. If the real wages are high, you will demand less laborers. If the real wages are low, you will demand more laborers. Okay. If the real wages are high, you will supply more laborers. So the simple idea is that if real wages are high, you will demand less laborers. And if the real wages are high, you will supply more laborers to get the high real wages. To get the high real wages, you will supply more laborers. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Yes. So if real wages are high, you are supplying more laborers. That's why the supply for labor is upward sloping and demand for labor is downward sloping, because at the high wages you will demand less laborers. So let's say that the question was asking that if there is unemployment, that means at the high wages, at the high real wages, you are supplying huge number of labor. You are supplying huge number of labor while the demand for labor is very less. The demand for labor is less and you are supplying huge labor. You are supplying huge labor while the demand is low. So the wages will reduce to bring the full employment where the demand for labor is equal to supply for labor. So this is the basic idea. So remember that this is your demand for labor, that is with the real wages. If the real wages are high, the demand for labor is low. If the real wages are low, the demand for labor is high. Okay, this is supply for labor. This is supply for labor. The supply for labor increases with the increase in real wages. Now, if there is unemployment in the country where the supply for labor is higher than the demand for labor, the real wages will decrease to bring the employment, and the classicals believed that the full employment is the normal condition, in the economy, and the equilibrium can be easily achieved with the wage flexibility. With the wage flexibility, there is always the full employment that can be achieved in the economy where the supply of labor is equal to demand of labor, as you can see, right? Next is the question number 2. So try to answer this question. Yes, the PDF will be available for the session and the PDF will be available in the Telegram channel. Okay. Then will it not lead to disguised unemployment? See, the classical economics is the economics that was present in 18th, 19th century. So at that time, this kind of disguised unemployment or this kind of concepts were not as prominent. So they were not considerate about that. They were not considered about that. Okay. So just focus on the theory right now. So coming to this question, yes, everyone is giving the right answer, that is 0.15. So very easy. The marginal propensity to import, that is with the change in income. If your income is increasing, let's say you are importing more product, so your imports are increasing. Okay. So with your increase in income from 1000 to 2000, what is the increase in income? The income has increased by 1000. So the imports has increased from 300 to 450, that is by 150 the imports have increased. So marginal propensity to import is 0.15. Very easy. Okay. So this is the marginal propensity to import, and simply the idea is that with the higher income, you will import more. You will import, or a country imports more. And even without any income, there is imports that happen, imports of the necessary good, like the oil is imported. Many of the countries that are in the deficit, they still import the oil. Okay. So even at the zero income, there is some kind of import that is happening. So this is autonomous imports. And this is, so you can see the import curve. This is the import curve. At the zero level, there is the autonomous import, and then with the increase in the income, your imports are increasing. So with the increase in the income, your imports are increasing. This is also the slope of the import line, we can say. Now try to answer this question. So try to think about it and try to draw the diagram also if you can, and then try to answer this question. Okay. So let's see how many of you are able to answer this question. A decrease in marginal propensity to consume, okay, will dash if the MPC is decreasing. So what will happen? And a decrease in autonomous consumption will lead to what? Okay, I'm getting the answer B. Let's see how many of you are correct. So all of you are giving the answer B. Good to see that you people are very much clear about the concepts. So first of all, consumption function is the consumption is equal to autonomous consumption plus the marginal propensity to consume, that is the slope, multiplied by the disposable income, or in the two sectors your disposable income is equal to income. Okay. So if your marginal propensity to consume is increasing, that means your slope is increasing. Okay, or when the marginal propensity to consume is decreasing, here the marginal propensity to consume is decreasing, that means the slope is decreasing. So when the slope is decreasing, so this is at the zero level of income, your autonomous consumption is this is this autonomous consumption with the this is the autonomous consumption. So with the increase in the income, your consumption is increasing. So this is told by the slope. This is shown by the slope. Now your slope has decreased. Slope has decreased. That means from the starting point, because this is autonomous consumption, that is, let's say 150. So autonomous consumption is not changing. Your slope is changing. So with the decrease in the slope, your consumption function is going to become flatter. Okay, is going to become flatter. So when the MPC is decreasing, the consumption function is going to become flatter. When the MPC is increasing, your consumption function is going to be steeper. Okay, it's going to be steeper. So when the MPC increases, your consumption function is going to be steeper. So when your MPC, that is your slope, is increasing, this is your consumption function. If the slope is increasing from the starting point, your consumption function is going to become steeper. And when your slope is decreasing, when the MPC is decreasing, the consumption function is going to be flatter. So this is the idea, that the consumption function is becoming flatter. Okay. Now with the decrease in autonomous consumption, now autonomous consumption has also decreased, has also changed. So autonomous consumption has decreased, that means there will be a backward or there will be a downward shift in the consumption function that will come. So because of the change in the slope, there is the rotation that is coming, and because of the change in autonomous consumption, there is the shift that comes, right? So here the right answer is B. I hope all of you are able to understand this, that why the B is the right answer. So when the MPC increases, when the slope increases, the consumption function becomes steeper. When the MPC decreases, when the slope decreases, consumption function becomes, or consumption becomes flatter. Okay, consumption line we can say. When your autonomous consumption is increasing, there is the upward shift in the consumption function. When autonomous consumption is decreasing, there is downward shift in the consumption function. So this is the idea. Now, which of the following is not among the characteristics of Keynesian consumption function? So you know the consumption function now, that consumption is equal to autonomous consumption plus the slope, that is your marginal propensity to consume, that is the change in income. With the change in income, there is change in consumption that is happening. Your income is increasing, with that there is the consumption that is increasing, multiplied by the disposable income. So this is the disposable income, or in the two sector model, your disposable income is your income minus taxes. So if you have two sectors, farms and households, that means government is not there, that means the taxes are not there. So when you have two sectors, when there is only farms and households, the taxes are ignored and your income is taken as disposable income. But when there is government sector also, when it is a three sector model, then the taxes are also taken into account. So your disposable income is equal to income minus taxes, and your disposable income can be consumed or saved, right? This is what we have understood yesterday. Your disposable income is used for your consumption or saving purposes. Okay. So now you have the consumption function. You have this consumption equation. Try to answer the question now. How many of you are able to answer? Okay, I am getting the answer 4 ka C. Very good. Do note your marks also, that how many marks you are getting. Keep on noting that also, that how many wrong answers you are giving. Okay, which of the following is not among the characteristics? So autonomous consumption is independent of the level of income. Here you can see the autonomous consumption does not depend upon the level of income. This is autonomous consumption that is independent of the level of income, whatever the level of income. Even if your level of income is 0, still there is some autonomous consumption that is happening. Okay, and whatever the level of income, the autonomous consumption will remain constant. Okay, now this is induced consumption. This is induced consumption that depends upon the level of income. So this is induced consumption. So autonomous consumption is independent of the level of income. The marginal propensity to consume is usually less than 1 and greater than 0. So your marginal propensity to consume is less than 1 and greater than 0. So this is the range of the marginal propensity to consume, because if the MPC is 0, that means if the slope is 0, so this whole thing will become 0. Your consumption will only be equal to the autonomous consumption. So MPC cannot be 0, because MPC is also the slope of the consumption function. If MPC is 1, so whatever your increase in income is happening, the total will be increase in consumption. So that is also not correct, right? If your income, let's say your income is increasing from 1000 to 2000, your consumption will also increase by 1000. So whatever the increase in income, there will be increase in the consumption that will come. So that is not true, because whenever your income is increasing, you will save also. You will save the money also, right? So it's not like that whatever your increase in income, you were earning 10,000. So you were consuming 8,000. Now you are earning 50,000. So will you consume the whole increase in the income? That is 40,000 you will consume. No, you will save something. So that is, with the increase in income, your consumption increases, but your savings also increase. Okay. So this is the idea. Now, the marginal propensity to consume is usually less than 1 and greater than 0. The average propensity to consume actually decreases as the income increases, because let's say you are earning 10,000. And from that you are consuming 8,000. So your average propensity to consume is the total consumption to total income. That is, your total consumption is 8,000. Your total income is 10,000. So your APC is 0.8. Now if your income is increasing to 1 lakh, will you consume 80,000? No. Let's say you are consuming 50,000. So your APC has decreased from 0.8 to 0.5. From the 1 lakh of the income, you are consuming 50,000 only. Okay. Let's say you are earning 1 crore, and from that you are only consuming 1 lakh. So your APC decreases to 0.1. So as you are moving to a higher income bracket, as you are becoming richer, your average propensity to consume decreases as the income increases. The slope is equal to MPC. So in the consumption function, the slope is equal to MPC, and in the linear consumption function, the slope remains constant. That means the MPC remains constant. So the idea is that the MPC remains constant with the increase in income. Your APC decreases with the increase in income, but your APC will always be greater than the MPC. So this is the idea that you need to remember. So here the C statement was wrong, because the APC decreases as the income increases, as you are moving to a higher income bracket. So you can see that APC is decreasing as your income is increasing. Your MPC remains constant, but always, here you can see, always the APC is greater than the MPC. Okay. So this is the idea, and this is your consumption line. That is a linear line. Now coming to the next question, that profit maximizing firm. Thank you so much, Lekhraj, means a lot. So profit maximizing firm will invest up to the level of investment where, which of the following is correct? So try to answer this. Anyone who is able to give the right answer of this question? Try to think about it and then try to answer. D. Okay. So Sarish has given the answer. What about the others? Padmini, Shruti, very good everyone. The D is the right answer. See what happens, that as per Keynes, the investment depends upon the interest rate and marginal efficiency of capital. First of all, what is marginal efficiency of capital? It is the expected rate of profitability. Expected rate of profitability. Okay. So if your, let's say your interest rate is 15% and your marginal efficiency of capital, that is expected rate of profitability, is 30%. So would you want to invest or would you want to save your money? If you are investing, you are getting the expected rate of profitability is 30% you will get. But if you save your money, you will get 15%. So would you want to invest or would you want to just save your money? You will not want to invest. What will you want to do? You will want to invest because you are getting more profits. So you will continue your investment. You will keep on increasing your investment until the marginal efficiency of capital is greater than the interest rate that you are getting from the savings. So marginal efficiency of capital is, let's say, 20% and the interest rate is 15%. So you will invest more, but now your marginal efficiency of capital is 15% and your interest rate is 15%. So here you will stop your investment. This is the level of investment that you will do. Okay. So this is the idea. If you see it through a diagram, here you can see that interest rate and marginal efficiency of capital. So let's say your marginal efficiency of capital is 10% while your interest rate is 5%. So you will keep on investing more, and when you are investing more, what happens? Try to understand this, that your MEC is, let's say, 10%, that is rate of profitability is 10% and your interest rate is 5%. Now MEC depends upon two factors. Anyone knows those two factors? Anyone have any idea that MEC depends upon two factors? One of them is the expected returns over the years, that is also known as the prospective yield from the investment, and the MEC depends upon the supply cost. Okay, supply cost of the machinery or such. So MEC shows you the expected rate of profitability, expected rate of profit from the additional capital stock. So you are investing your money and you are increasing your capital stock. With the additional capital stock that you are buying, what is the expected rate of profit? That is shown by the MEC. Now how do you take out the profit? That is price minus the cost. So let's say the cost of machine is rupees 10, while the profit that you are getting, the returns that you are getting or the price that you are getting is rupees 20. So that is your profits, right? That is your profits. So similarly, MEC depends upon the prospective yield because the machine is going to work for the coming 5-10 years. So what is the prospective returns that you are going to get from that machine minus the supply cost? So this is the supply cost of the machine and this is the prospective returns, prospective yield from the machine. So this is showing you the expected profits. So this is the MEC. Okay. So now as you are investing, your MEC is greater than interest rate, so you are investing more and more. When you are investing more and more, the supply cost of the machine also increases because you are investing more. So you are demanding more of the machine, tools and equipments. So the supply cost of the machine, tools and equipment increases. So when your supply cost is increasing as compared to the returns, so your expected profits are decreasing. That's why if your MEC is greater than interest rate, you will invest more, but when you invest more, your MEC decreases. So if your MEC is higher as compared to the interest rate, your MEC is 10%, interest rate is 5%, you will invest more. You will keep on investing more. As you invest more, your MEC keeps on declining. Your MEC keeps on declining. So now at this level, your MEC has become equal to the rate of interest. So this is the level of investment that you are doing. So remember this, that if your MEC is greater than interest rate, you will invest more. But if you are investing more, your expected rate of profitability is decreasing because of the increase in the supply cost of the machines. Okay, with the higher investment. So when you are investing more, MEC decreases and then it becomes equal to the interest rate, and where the MEC is equal to interest rate, there is the cost of borrowing is equal to the MEC. There is the let's say there is the investment that is happening. Okay, so this is the investment curve that depends upon the interest rate and MEC. So this is the level of investment that is happening because here the interest rate is equal to MEC. Okay, now the next question, I hope you will be able to answer this question. So try to answer this question, everyone. Yes, very good, very good. Many of your concepts are clear, so that is good to see. So try to answer this question. Consider the specification of money demand. Okay. So So here simply neutrality principle. Neutrality principle means, as per classical economist, the Fisher has given a equation. The Fisher has given the equation that your money supply multiplied by the velocity is equal to your price multiplied by the transactions that you are doing. So this is the money supply, total money supply in the economy. Velocity is how many times a note is changing hands. Okay, let's say I am giving you 1 rupee note or 100 rupee note and you are giving it to some other person. So how many times the note is changing hands. Price is the price level in the economy. Transaction is the transactions that are happening in the economy. Like I am giving you some material, you are giving some material to some other person. So the transactions that are happening. So your money supply multiplied by velocity is equal to price level multiplied by the transactions. Now later on classical economists replaced these transactions with the level of output. That how much production that is happening, because transactions are of the produced material and we do not want to see the second hand goods. So that's why instead of taking the transactions, we are taking the output. Now classical economists said that the output is constant because you are producing at the full employment. Velocity is also considered constant. So if your money supply is changing, then the price level will have to change. So let's say your money supply multiplied by velocity is equal to price multiplied by the level of output. Now, as per classical economists, your level of output cannot change because you are producing at the full employment. Your aggregate supply, your output is being produced at the full employment level. So, as per classical economists, the output cannot change. The velocity also is considered constant. So, if your money supply is increasing, to make the left hand side equal to the right hand side, the price level will also have to increase in the same proportion. That means there is direct and proportional relationship between the money supply and the price level. So actual money supply is M, that is increasing. So to bring equilibrium, to bring the neutrality principle, the price level will have to increase in the same manner, so that it is said neutrality principle means that the money supply only affects the price level. The money supply, as per classical economists, the money supply cannot affect the level of output, cannot affect the real variables such as employment, the level of output, the real interest rate or the real wages in the country. So I hope this is clear. So as per classical economists, neutrality principle means that the money supply can only affect the price level in the economy and the money supply cannot affect the real variables such as the output, employment and such. Okay, so here the answer is C. Yes, very good. Now coming to the next question, that is according to the Keynesian multiplier model, dash would be the value of the multiplier if the value of MPC is 0.75 and if the MPC decreases, the value of multiplier will decrease. What will happen to that? Okay, so try to answer this question. Okay, so I hope you, yes, okay, I'm getting the answer C. So Keynesian multiplier model, so simply the multiplier formula is 1 upon 1 minus MPC. Okay, this is the formula of investment multiplier, government expenditure multiplier. So this is the formula. Let's say we are talking about the investment multiplier. So 1 upon 1 minus MPC means 1 upon 1 minus 0.75, so that is 0.25. 1 minus 0.75, so that is 0.25, so that is 4. So the multiplier is 4. And if the MPC is increasing, remember this, that if the MPC is increasing, the multiplier, if the MPC is increasing, the multiplier increases, and if the MPC is decreasing, the multiplier also decreases. So this is the idea. So with the MPC, there is direct relationship between the MPC, and the multiplier, and MPS and the multiplier have a inverse relationship. Okay, so remember that the MPS plus the MPC is equal to 1. So that is, from the change in income there is some savings that is happening, from the increase in income there is some consumption that is happening, so that is equal to 1. If your income is increasing by 100, you are using it for the saving purpose or for the consumption purpose, or let's say this is disposable income that we are talking about. Okay, so from the disposable income you can either save or consume, so from that you are saving or consuming, so that is equal to 1. Yes, your APS plus APC is also equal to 1, So from your total income, disposable income, you are either consuming, saving, or you are consuming. Okay, so your MPS is equal to from your increase in income, you are increasing the consumption. Your APS is equal to from your income, what is the total savings. Okay, so if your MPC decreases, now the formula of multiplier is 1 upon 1 minus MPC. So that means 1 minus MPC is MPS. So if your MPS is increasing, your multiplier decreases. If your MPS decreases, your multiplier increases. MPC, if the MPC is increasing, your multiplier is increasing. If the MPC is decreasing, your multiplier is decreasing. So MPC and the multiplier have a direct relationship, while the MPS and the multiplier has an inverse relationship. Okay, so I hope you understand this and you will remember this for the examination. So this is the formula. So this is the Keynesian multiplier, the investment multiplier we can say. So it has the formula 1 upon 1 minus MPC. So the multiplier shows that with the increase in the, let's say there is the increase in the investment, with the increase in the investment there is income that is increasing by multiple effect. Okay, so that is shown by the multiplier, that with the increase in investment the income is increasing by multiple, and the formula for this is 1 upon 1 minus MPC, that is 1 upon MPS. With the increase in the government expenditure, there is increase in income by the multiplier effect, so that is government expenditure multiplier, that also has the same formula. Okay, so now coming to the next question, try to answer this question. So now try to answer this question. So here, suppose the level of autonomous investment in an economy is rupees 200 crores and the consumption function of the economy is this. Okay, so your level of output is equal to consumption. So remember that we have to find the equilibrium level of, income. Okay, that means equilibrium level of income is equal to aggregate demand. So at the equilibrium, as per Keynes, in the equilibrium, the aggregate supply or the income, the aggregate supply is considered the income, is equal to your aggregate demand. So at the equilibrium point, we are taking, this is the aggregate demand, and aggregate demand is equal to consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports. Okay, now this is equal to your aggregate supply. This is equal to your aggregate supply. Okay, so your aggregate demand is equal to your aggregate supply, and this is the equilibrium level of output that is being achieved. This is the equilibrium level of output that is being achieved. So that means your aggregate supply is equal to aggregate demand. Now aggregate supply is nothing else. This is the income that is being generated in the economy, because aggregate supply is the total production, that means total income that is generated in the economy. Okay, so aggregate supply is equal to aggregate demand in the equilibrium. Aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. So this is the equilibrium level of income that is being achieved. So your income is equal to aggregate demand, your income is equal to aggregate demand, your income, and now aggregate demand is what? It is consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports. But we are taking two sector economy because we only have the consumption and investment. Okay, so your income, consumption is what? It is 80 plus 0.75y, your investment is 200. So that means 280 is the plus 0.75y, so if it goes there, so y minus 0.75y, so that will be 0.25y equal to 280. Okay, so 280 divided by 0.25, y is equal to this. Okay, so that will be, the answer will be 1120. Yes, the answer will be 1120. I hope this is clear. And now with the increase in what will be the increase in national income if the investment is increasing by 25 crores? If the investment is increasing by 25 crores, what will be the increase in income that you have to tell? So that means, what is the formula of multiplier? 1 upon 1 minus MPC. What is MPC here? This is MPC, right? In the consumption function, A plus BY. So A is your 80, autonomous consumption. B is your 0.75. So this 0.75 is the B is the slope, this is the MPC. So 0.75, 1 upon 1 minus MPC is 0.75. Okay, so that will be 1 upon 0.25. So 4 will be the investment multiplier. 4 will be the investment multiplier. So here you have the investment multiplier, that is 4 is equal to change in income with the change in investment. So your investment is changing by 25 crores. Take it there. So 4 multiplied by 25 crores, you will get the change in income. So here you are getting the answer 100 crores, okay, as the change in income. So your equilibrium level of income was 1120. Your increase in income is happening by 100 crores. So yes, this is the answer. Zareen, we have limited time now. Even the faculties and even you have limited time. So kindly focus on your live crash course right now. You can see that, okay? And you will get the recorded format of the video, okay? Now this is the answer that we have got. Now coming to the next question, that is what increase in investment is needed to raise the income by 4,000 crores if the MPC is 0.75. If the MPC is 0.75. So increase in investment with the increase in income, this shows you the multiplier. So if your MPC is, again very easy, your multiplier should be 1 upon 1 minus 0.75, so that is 4. So your investment multiplier is 4. Your investment multiplier is 4. So with the change, you have to find what? You have to find the change or the increase in investment. With that, the increase in income is coming. So your investment multiplier is 4. That means income is increasing by 4 times. So that means investment must be 1000. Investment must be 1000. So that is your investment multiplier is 4. So with the change in investment, there is change in income that is coming. So that means change in investment is 4,000. That is change in income divided by 4. So that is change in income is 1000. Your your investment is increasing by 1000 with the increase in investment of 1000. As your multiplier is 4, so the income is increasing by 4,000. So very easy. The answer is B here, okay? Now coming to the next question. So read the statements very carefully and try to answer the question. Read the statements carefully and try to answer this question, that according to Keynes, relative income is the determinant of consumption. True or not? According to Dusenberry, J.S. Dusenberry, consumption of an individual depends on his absolute income. According to life cycle hypothesis, this states that individuals seek to smooth consumption throughout their lifetime by borrowing when their income is low and saving when their income is high. So which of the following is correct? D is the answer here. That is 1 and 2. Okay. So 1 and 2 are incorrect. Is it true? Yes, that is correct. Very good. So see, as per Keynes, the consumption depends upon your absolute income or your absolute disposable income, your current disposable income. It doesn't depend upon your relative income. Relative income means that as compared to the other people, what is your income? So relative income means in comparison to other people, what is your income? So that is the relative income. So Dusenberry, J.S. Dusenberry has given the relative income hypothesis, and he has said that the consumption depends upon relative income, while the Keynes has said that the consumption depends upon absolute income. So this is wrong, because Keynes has said that the consumption depends upon your absolute disposable income or absolute current income, we can say. Dusenberry said that the consumption of an individual depends on his relative income. Okay. According to life cycle hypothesis, this is true. This is true, that according to the life cycle hypothesis, when you have low income during the starting age, when you are just starting the work, you have low income. So you are taking loans for your consumption. Okay, you are borrowing, you are taking loans, you are borrowing for your consumption purposes, When you have higher income, when you start earning more, you save your income for the later on period when you will retire and when you have to consume at the lesser income. Okay, so your consumption is nearly like flat, or we can say your consumption is slightly increasing, very slightly increasing in your lifetime. So this is life cycle hypothesis that states that the individuals, they want to have the smooth consumption, they want to maintain their standard of living, so they borrow when their income is low and they save when their income is high. So only the third statement was true, first and second were wrong, and that's why D is the answer here. Okay. Now before moving ahead, before moving to the further questions, now there is a big announcement from EduTap that we have brought for you the ultimate test series for the phase 1 and phase 2 that is going to provide you more than 12,000 MCQs and the descriptive test for your SEBI Grade A 2024 preparation, so that you are able to understand and you are able to gauge your level of preparation and what more you have to do in your preparation. So you are getting chapter wise test, you are getting solved previous year question, you are getting current affairs test, full length test for the phase 1, full length test for the phase 2. So you are getting immense number of questions for your practice of the different subjects, so you are able to understand the level of your preparation and how more you have to prepare. Okay, so this is the ultimate test series that we have launched for you, and if you want to see that how you can buy the course, so you can go to the website of Edutab, that is edutab.co.in. If you go to this website, here in the courses segment you can go to the SEBI Grade A courses general, and here you can see that the test series is provided to you. So the test series is provided to you for the phase 1 and phase 2. So this is like you are getting immense number of questions, MCQs here, solve previous year question, chapter wise test and such. So you can see that how much off you are getting, as well as if you want to buy it, you can directly buy it from here. Okay, so this is for your practice, this is for your understanding that how far you have prepared and how much you have to prepare more. Okay, and solving more MCQs will give you some kind of understanding of the examination also. So now I hope this is clear. Now going forward with the next question, that which of the following statements is incorrect in context of the accelerator theory. So which of the following statements is incorrect that you have to tell me in the context of accelerator theory. So accelerator theory, in this theory there is some of the assumptions that have been given. So you have to tell me that which of the following assumptions are incorrect, we can say. Okay, now one thing that is in the accelerator theory. See, the multiplier theory said that with the increase in investment there is the increase in income that is happening. Now the Keynes has given the investment multiplier. Keynes said that the investment does not depend upon the level of income. Your investment is like this. In the Keynes theory, that your investment is constant with your level of income. Your investment is constant with the level of income. Investment depends upon the rate of interest and marginal efficiency of capital, and the investment does not depend upon the level of income. So whatever the level of income, whatever change that is happening in the income, that will not affect the investment. So Keynes, as per Keynes multiplier, the change in investment will increase the income in the multiple manner. So if investment is increasing by 1,000, the income will increase by 4,000, 8,000, whatever the multiplier is. Now accelerator theory said that if you have to increase your income, if you have to increase your production, you have to do the investment. You have to increase your capital stock. For the increasing of the capital stock, you have to do the investment, and this will depend upon your capital output ratio also, that is V. Okay, so the capital output ratio, that is V. So the equation is that your investment, the net investment, if you want to increase the production, your net investment depends like your net investment, if you want to increase your output, you have to do the net investment. That also depends upon your capital output ratio. Okay, so if you want to increase the output by, let's say your capital output ratio is to produce 20 output, you need 40 capital. So that means your capital output ratio is 2. So if you want to increase your production by 100, you require 200 worth of investment. Okay, so you need to increase your investment. So that is, multiplier said that with the increase in investment there is increase in income, or there is increase in output that will happen. The accelerator theory said that if you want to increase the output, you have to increase the investment. Okay, while the Keynes said that with the increase in income, the investment cannot change. But the accelerator said that is not true. With the increase in income, you have to increase the investment. So that is the difference between the accelerator and the multiplier theory. Any confusion, anyone? So here, as per accelerator theory, there is no excess capacity in the consumer good firms. So if you want to increase the output, if there is more consumption that is happening, the output has to be increased. In the consumer goods, there is no excess capacity. So if you want to increase the output, you will have to increase the investment. You will have to increase the investment. You will have to increase the capital stock, because there is no excess capacity in the consumer good firms that produces for the consumption purposes. Now there is this is wrong. The B statement is wrong because there is surplus capacity in the investment goods industry. That's why when you are investing, you are able to increase the capital stock because there is the surplus capacity, there is the extra capacity that is present in the investment goods industry, in the capital good industry. So if you require the machinery, tools and equipments, that is easily supplied to you. Okay, so as per accelerator theory, if you want to increase your output if your consumption is increasing and you want to increase your output, you want to produce the consumer goods, you want to produce the consumer goods. In the consumer good industries, there is no excess capacity. So if you want to produce for the consumer good, you have to increase the capital stock. You have to increase the capital stock. That means in the investment good industry, there is surplus capacity that is present. So increase the capital stock, increase the investment, increase the machinery, tools and equipments that will be used to produce the consumer goods, that will be used to produce for the consumption purposes. Okay, so there is elastic credit supply in the economy. The credit can be supplied very easily in the economy. There is constant capital output ratio. So in this equation, that is investment with the change in income, there is the investment that is required dependent on the capital output ratio, and the capital output ratio is taken as constant in the accelerator theory. The increase in demand is considered constant because with the increase in income, this is considered like there is increase in consumption demand, there is increase in demand for the consumer goods. So this is considered like permanent, or this is considered for a long period of time, because if the consumption is increasing only for a small period of time, no firm will want to purchase the huge machineries. So that's why the increase in demand is considered permanent, that is going to sustain in the future also. So that's why the firms are purchasing the machineries from the investment goods industries. So I hope this is clear. So there are the different assumptions that you can read. All of these assumptions are for the accelerator theory. I have given you the crux. Now coming to the next question, which of the following is the correct formula of the tax multiplier when the lump sum tax is increasing? Okay, which of the following is the correct formula of the tax multiplier when the lump sum tax is increasing? So we have understood that for the investment multiplier, this is the formula, or we can write it as 1 upon MPS, because MPS is 1 minus MPC. But for the tax multiplier, here we are talking about the lump sum tax. For the lump sum tax, that is if your income is 1000 or if your income is 10,000, from all the people there is 100 rupees that is taken. So that is lump sum tax. Doesn't matter what your income is, there is a lump sum tax that is being taken. So the lump sum tax, the formula for the lump sum tax is minus MPC divided by the MPS. So this is the formula of the lump sum tax. Now there is also one tax that is known as proportional tax. Proportional tax. Proportional tax is a percentage of your income. So this is proportional tax. For this, the formula for proportional tax multiplier is 1 upon 1 minus B plus BT. Okay, so this is the formula, or we can write it as 1 upon 1 minus B bracket 1 minus T. Okay, so this is the formula for the proportional tax multiplier. This is the formula for the proportional tax multiplier. So for the proportional tax, 1 minus B bracket में 1 minus T, or we can write it as 1 minus B plus BT. Okay, B is the MPC for sure. So now if there is the lump sum tax, what is the formula? Minus MPC divided by MPS. But if there is the proportional tax multiplier, so this is the formula. Okay, so I hope you will remember this. Proportional tax is a percentage of your income, 20% of your income, 30% of your income. Lump sum tax is a amount that is taken from all the people irrespective of the income. So for the lump sum tax, the formula is this. For the proportional tax, this is the formula. Okay, now coming to the next question, the paradox of thrift. So which of the following is or are true from about the paradox of thrift, that you have to tell me. That it was popularized by J.M. Keynes. So that is correct. The paradox of thrift is actually popularized by J.M. Keynes. It states that the personal savings can be detrimental to overall economic growth. So this is also correct. The paradox of thrift says that during the recession or depression, if you are trying to save more, let's say all the people around you are losing their jobs. So if you save more, you are actually decreasing the demand in the economy, and during the recessionary time, if you are decreasing your demand, this is going to further affect the economy. Okay, decrease the demand, decrease the production will be decreased, and so on. So here the personal savings can be detrimental to the overall economic growth, and the individual saving during the economic recession leads to fall in aggregate demand. So this is true. 1, 2 and 5 are true. Okay. The paradox of thrift do not tell about the relationship between the output growth and the unemployment, or it doesn't tell about the inflation and the rate of interest. So here the answer is C. That is 1, 2 and 5 are the correct statements. So here you can see that if this is your income is, let's say 300 is your income, this is disposable income, consumption and saving. Consumption is 200 crores and saving is 100 crores, let's say. Now you are increasing your savings by 150 crores or by 50 crores. You are increasing your savings. So your savings is becoming 150 crores. Your consumption is becoming 150 crores from the 300 income. Now, if your consumption is decreasing, not because of your income, your consumption is decreasing because of the autonomous reasons. Now, if the consumption is decreasing because of the autonomous reasons, there is autonomous decrease in the consumption. So, the autonomous multiplier, this is 1 upon 1 minus MPC or 1 upon MPS. Your MPS is 0.5. So, that means autonomous, if your consumption is decreasing by 50 crores, your income 1 upon 0.5. That is multiplier is 2. That means your income will decrease by 100 crores. So this is the idea, that if you are trying from your income, from your given income, if you are trying to save more, you are increasing your savings by 50 crores, you are decreasing your consumption by 50 crores, that means your income will decrease by 100 crores because your multiplier is 2. So your income is going to decrease. So this shows that, and when your income is decreasing to 200 crores, so before your consumption was 200 crores, your saving was 100 crores, then your saving increased to 150, consumption decreased to 150. Now from your 200 income, let's say you are consuming 100 crores and you are saving 100 crores. So that means your savings is the previous level and your consumption has decreased. So this is shown by paradox of thrift. It says that the attempt of the people to save more actually leads them to save the same amount. Okay, so it will only end up with the same savings or even lower savings, and in the process they will decrease their consumption, their standard of living. So if you try to save more during the recession, during the depression, what happens that your saving actually decreases and your consumption also, or your saving remains the same level. If you are trying to increase your saving remains at the same level and your consumption also decreases. So that's why during the recession, depression, saving is the, like paradox of thrift is that thrifting or the saving is considered good, but during the recession, depression, saving is very bad. Okay. Now coming to the money measure, consists of M1 plus time deposits with the bank. So M1 is your currency with the public, the demand deposits plus the other deposits with the RBI. So currency with the public, demand deposits is how many, like demand deposits is the amount that is being kept in the bank and you can take out whenever you want. So this is M1, that is most liquid of the money supply. Okay, so currency with the public, currency in your hand, demand deposits that you can take out anytime. At 2 a.m. if I want to buy something, at 2 p.m. if I want to buy something, I can easily send the money through my bank account. So on demand I can take out my money. So this is most liquid money that you can use. Now M1 plus the time deposits with the banks, this leads to M3. Yes, so answer is M3. So there are different like M1, M2, M3, M4. So you must know about the formula and direct question can come from this. M0 is the reserve or high powered money that is actually printed by the issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so in this comes the currency in circulation, the bankers deposit with the Reserve Bank of India, and the other deposits with the Reserve Bank of India. So currency in circulation, it includes the currency that the people have, the currency with public plus the currency that the banks have. Okay, that is the SLR, let's say the statutory liquidity ratio, that is the percentage of the deposits that the banks are keeping with themselves. Plus, so this is currency in circulation that can be used in the economy. Now bankers deposit with the RBI. So this is like the CRR, that the banks are depositing an amount with the RBI that cannot be used by the banks. Now other deposits with the RBI. So other deposits with the RBI can be of the different institutions. Okay, so this is the idea. This is how much of the money has been printed. The currency with the public, that we actually have the 500 200 notes, the SLR that the banks have to keep with themselves, the CRR in cash. SLR in cash, we can say, that the banks have to keep with themselves, and the CRR that is kept in cash with the RBI. So this is actually the cash that the RBI has released. So M0 is the reserve money. It is the high powered money that the cash, the coins, the RBI that has released. Okay, so this is M0. Then there is M1, M2, M3 and M4. There are different formulas for that. Okay, now coming to the next question, that money supply, this has an inverse relationship with which, and this has a positive relation with which. So that you have to tell me. Okay, so money supply has this formula. Money supply depends upon the money multiplier multiplied by the high powered money. So try to answer this question. So I'm getting the answer B. Okay, so directly from this formula you can see that the money supply has a positive relationship with the high powered money. With the increase in high powered money, the money supply will also increase. Okay, so if the money supply is what? Money supply is the total money that is supplying in the economy. Now let's say that you are depositing the money with the bank. You are depositing the money with the bank. The bank is only keeping a percentage of that deposit, the reserve ratio the bank is keeping, and the bank is lending that money to some other person. Now this money is going to some other bank, okay, as in the form of deposit. Now the bank is keeping a percentage in the form of reserve ratio, and the bank is also lending the money. So let's say you have deposited 100 rupees, 10% of that the banks are keeping as reserve ratio. Okay, so 10% means 10 rupees, 90 rupees is lent by the bank. Now this 90 rupees, let's say, is going to the account of some other person. So this 90 rupees, now 10% of this 90 rupees, that means 9 rupees is being kept by the bank, by the other bank, and 81 rupees is lent. 81 rupees is lent. So in total you can see the lending is happening of 90 plus 81, so that is 171. So the deposit of 100 rupees has led to 171, and reserves are of 19 rupees. So in total the 100 rupees has become 200 rupees in the economy. Okay, and the money supply, the circulation, like the money supply has become of 171. So reserves are of 19 rupees that the bank have to keep, and 171. So from the 100 rupees of the deposit, the money supply has become of 171. So this is because of the banking system, because of the credit creation system, the money supply is higher than the high powered money. Okay, so that depends upon money multiplier. Now money multiplier depends upon two things. Okay, that is reserve ratio. If the reserve ratio is high, that means money multiplier will be low, the money supply will be low. Let's say from the 100 rupees you have to keep 90 rupees as reserves. You can only lend 10 rupees. So that will not be able to create much of the money supply, right? So if the reserve ratio is high, and if the reserve ratio is increasing, this has inverse relationship with the money supply. So the reserve ratio, the cash reserve ratio that the banks have to keep, has an inverse relationship with the money supply and the high powered money. The more money that is printed, the more money that can go to the bank, the more money supply that can be created by the banks. Okay, and the money, the higher the cash reserve ratio, the lower the money supply. So simply the idea is that there is the currency reserve ratio or the cash reserve ratio. The higher the cash reserve ratio, the lower the money supply that can be created. The lower the currency reserve ratio, the higher the money supply that can be created. Similarly, there is another concept of currency deposit ratio, currency to deposit ratio. If you are holding more currency and you are depositing less of the money, what will happen? That the money supply will be created less, because you are, let's say I have 100 rupees, I am depositing only 10 rupees, I am keeping 90 rupees in my hands. That means the banks are receiving less money to create the money supply. So less money supply will be created if the currency deposit ratio is high. If the currency to deposit ratio is low, that means you are keeping less currency, you are depositing more. That means banks have more money to create the money supply. So if the currency deposit ratio, currency deposit ratio, that is, let's say, is denoted by C, small c, and the reserve ratio, that is the reserves as a percentage of deposits, this is R. So both of them have an inverse relationship with the money supply. Okay, so this is the money supply upon my high powered money is equal to money multiplier. So money supply is what? It is the currency with the high powered money, it is the currency with the public plus the total reserves that the banks or the RBI is keeping, because that is the actual money that has been printed. Okay, so high powered money now can be used to create the money supply. So currency with public is same in both the money supply and high powered money. From the cash reserves you are creating the demand deposits. From the cash reserves you are creating the demand deposits. Okay, so from the cash reserves you are creating the demand deposits. If we divide it by deposits, total deposits, so currency to deposit ratio is C, the reserve to deposit ratio is R. So you can understand that C and R, they are in the denominator, so they both have the inverse relationship with the money supply, and high powered money has a positive relationship with the money supply. Okay, so this is the idea. Now coming to the next question, try to answer this question. If there is any confusion, kindly ask. So which of the following statements is or are correct as per Keynes' liquidity preference theory? So transaction demand for money is independent of the rate of interest. So Keynes has said that there are three motives for demanding the money. For demand of money, there are three motives: transaction demand for money for the transaction purposes, speculative demand for money, that is for the speculation purposes. If the interest rate goes high in the future, if the interest rate is low, you will do more speculative demand for money. You will want to hold more money for the speculative purposes. Okay, you will want to hold more money for the speculative purposes, because in the future when the interest rate goes high, you will want to invest then. If the interest rate is high right now, you will want to hold less money for the speculative purposes, because you will want to invest right now. Okay, so your transaction demand for money for the transaction purposes, speculative demand for money depends upon interest rate, and there is also the precautionary demand for money for the precautionary purposes. So your transaction demand for money is independent of the rate of interest. That is correct. As per Keynes, the transaction demand for money does not depend upon the rate of interest until the rate of interest is very, very high. The higher the level of income, the more you will want to do the transaction. So that is also correct, that if there is the higher the level of income, the more the transaction demand for money. Okay, greater the transaction demand for money at a given rate of interest. Speculative demand for money does not depend on the level of income, it depends on the interest rate. So if the interest rate is high, you will want to hold less money for the speculative purposes, because you will want to invest that time. If the interest rate is low, you will want to hold more money. Speculative demand for money will be high because you will wait for the interest rate to go up. So you will want to hold the money. So as soon as the interest rate goes up, you will want to invest then. Okay, so speculative demand for money depends on the interest rate, inversely on the interest rate. So this is incorrect. The other two are correct. So 1 and 2 is the right answer here. Okay, there is the right answer. So here you can see speculative demand for money depends inversely on the rate of interest. Now coming to the next question, according to Friedman's theory of demand for money, which of the following statements is or are correct? That you have to tell me. Okay, so try to answer this question. So Friedman distinguishes between the speculative and transaction demand for money. So this is incorrect. Actually, only Keynes has done so. Keynes has differentiated between the two. Rate of return on bonds and equities and rate of interest helps in determining the demand for money. Yes, as per Friedman, the demand for money depends upon the rate of interest. That if the rate of interest is high, if the rate or the interest that you are getting on the bonds, the interest or the returns that you are getting on the equities, if those are high, you will want to have less, your demand for money will be less. You will want to hold less money. If the returns are high, you will want to invest there, right? So the Friedman has said that the demand for money depends upon the rate of return on bonds, equities, rate of interest. Higher price level will decrease the money supply? No. The demand for money depends upon your price level and income also. If your price level is high, you will demand more money because you will require more money for the transaction purposes. Okay, so here only the second statement was correct, 1 and 3rd statement were wrong. So D is the answer here. Yes, D is the answer here. So Friedman, nominal demand for money, the demand for money depends upon the, it's a function of the rate of interest that you are getting, rate that you are getting, returns that you are getting on the bonds, returns that you are getting on the equities, the price level you have. The higher the price level, the higher the demand for money, the higher the income, the higher the demand for money for the transaction purposes. Okay, So here the PY, if we take out the PY, so your demand for money is like dependent upon the returns that you are getting, okay, multiplied by the nominal income, the price level and income. If your nominal income is high, you will demand more money, but it also depends upon the returns. If you are getting higher returns, if you are getting high returns through these, you will want to hold less money, okay. So this is the Friedman's idea. So Friedman theory of demand for money does not consider any motive for holding money. He does not distinguish between speculative, transaction, precautionary demand for money. He doesn't do so. He has not differentiated the motives, okay. He has just said that your demand for money depends upon these factors, just that, okay. Next question is regarding the Cambridge equation. So there is the cash Cambridge theory, or the Cambridge economist such as the Marshall and Pigou. They have given an equation. So try to answer this question. So as per Cambridge equation specification of the demand for money, so they have given the idea of the demand for money. The P is the price level, M is the demand for money, demand for the nominal money stock, Y is the real GDP, and K is the proportion of the spending people, of the proportion of the spending people which hold in nominal money balances, okay. So actually here the slope is what? The slope is K. The slope is K. Yes. The C is the right answer here. So here you can see this is the equation. Your demand for money depends upon your K multiplied by the nominal, your nominal income. Okay, nominal income is price multiplied by real income. Okay, K equal to demand for money. So here you can read more about the Cambridge cash balance theory, but the basic idea is that your demand for money depends upon that how much money the people want to hold multiplied by the nominal income. So if nominal income is high, the demand for money will be high. If nominal income will be low, demand for money will be low. So you can read more about it, but this is the basic idea. So Y is the real national income, the P is the price level. So price level multiplied by real national income or real output. So this is nominal national income. Okay. So multiplied by K. So this is the equation, okay. As your nominal national income increases, you can see that your demand for money increases. Demand for money depends upon your nominal national income. If it is increasing, your demand for money is increasing, okay. Now coming to the next question, so IS curve. So try to answer this question. Try to answer this question. So your IS curve, which of the following statement is correct in regard to the IS curve that you have to tell me, okay. So try to answer this. The IS curve shows the relationship between the interest rate and the level of income where the goods market is in equilibrium. Where the goods market is in equilibrium. Okay. So this is incorrect. IS curve shows that the level of national income increases. The level of national income increases when the rate of interest decreases to restore the equilibrium in the goods market. So IS curve shows the relationship between the rate of interest and level of income where the goods market is in equilibrium, and the IS curve is downward sloping. So it shows that there is inverse relationship between the rate of interest and level of income. If the rate of interest is increasing, the level of income is decreasing, and vice versa. The IS curve shifts because of autonomous variables, that is the autonomous government expenditure, the autonomous consumption, net exports, the autonomous investment, and lump sum taxes. So this is correct. If there is an increase in government expenditure, if the government expenditure is increasing, IS curve will shift rightward. So here all of these statements were wrong, only the D statement was correct. So here you can see that in the ISLM model we have taken the relationship between the interest rate and the investment. So if the interest rate is increasing, the investment you can see is decreasing. Okay, so let's say that with the decrease in the rate of interest, your investment is increasing, and your aggregate demand, that is consumption plus investment, if the investment is increasing, aggregate demand will increase. With the increase in aggregate demand, the equilibrium level of income will increase. So what is happening, that as your rate of interest is decreasing, the investment is increasing. With the increase in investment, aggregate demand is increasing, and with the increase in aggregate demand, your equilibrium level of income is also increasing. So with the decrease in the rate of interest, the equilibrium level of income increases. With the decrease in the rate of interest, equilibrium level of income increases. This is shown by IS curve. So IS curve is downward sloping. So I hope this is clear. And the IS curve shows the relationship between the rate of interest and the level of income where the goods market is in equilibrium, where the aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. So IS curve shows the relationship between the rate of interest. IS curve shows the relationship between the rate of interest and the national income where the goods market is in equilibrium, where the aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. So we are seeing the IS curve shows the relationship between the rate of interest and level of income where the goods market is in equilibrium. Goods market is in equilibrium means aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Okay. Now the IS curve is sloping downward to the right, and let's say the aggregate demand, it is consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports. So if the if the income is changing or rate of interest is changing simultaneously, so this is movement, this is movement, this is movement. Interest rate is increasing, income is decreasing, and vice versa. But if the autonomous or the external factors are changing, let's say that there is the increase in government expenditure. With the increase in government expenditure, the aggregate demand increases, and due to at the same level of rate of interest also the level of income increases. So this will cause the rightward shift in the IS curve. Okay. So because of the autonomous reasons, the the level of income can change at the same rate of interest. At the same rate of interest, the level of income can change. So increase in government expenditure, increase in aggregate demand, increase in income at the same rate of interest. Let's say autonomous investment, that is the investment that does not depend upon the rate of interest and the level of income. Autonomous investment, let's say population is increasing. With the increase in population, you have to do more investment. So that is autonomous investment. So with the same rate of interest, the autonomous investment is increasing. Due to that also the level of income can increase. Okay. So due to these reasons, the IS curve can shift rightwards. Okay. So now, because of the increase in autonomous consumption, because of the increase in the government expenditure, because of the increase in the autonomous investment, because of the increase in net exports or decrease in lump sum taxes, there can be a rightward shift in the IS curve, because of these reasons the aggregate demand can increase with the same rate of interest, so the level of income will increase. Okay. Next is IS curve is flatter if which of the following is true. So try to answer this. Here the elasticity of the IS curve is flatter. This is the IS curve. It is flatter when the elasticity of investment demand curve is high. The investment demand is very elastic with the rate of interest. Okay, so that with the changes in the rate of interest, there is huge change that is coming in the investment. Okay, so IS curve is flatter when the investment demand is very elastic, is very responsive to the rate of interest, and when the investment multiplier is very high. The investment multiplier will be high when the MPC is high or when the MPS is high. Who can tell me that when the MPC is high, then the investment multiplier will be high, or when the MPC is high, then the investment multiplier will be high? Which? Anyone? Yes, when the MPC is high, then the investment multiplier will be high. So IS curve will be flatter when the elasticity of the investment demand curve is high with respect to the rate of interest. The investment demand is very elastic, as well as when the investment multiplier is high. So 1 and 4 should be the answer. So IS curve is flat when the investment demand is very elastic, is more elastic to the rate of interest, and when the value of multiplier, when the investment multiplier is very high. Okay, so investment demand is very elastic to the rate of interest, and when the investment multiplier is high, in this condition there will be flat IS curve. Now there will be steep IS curve. When the investment demand is not very elastic to the rate of interest, and when the investment multiplier is low. when the investment multiplier is low, or when there is low elasticity of the investment demand with respect to the rate of interest, then there will be steep IS curve. Next question is from the LM curve. So try to answer this question, anyone? So what is the answer of this question? LM curve shows the relationship between the interest rate and the level of income where the money market is in equilibrium. So LM curve anyone who is able to give the right answer of this question? Okay. See, LM curve is upward sloping. Okay, it shows that with the increase in the level of income, there is increase in the rate of interest. Okay, so which of the following is correct here? B. No, that is not correct. C. Okay, Shruti is saying C. Let's see. So here, first of all, LM curve shows the relationship. So LM curve shows the relationship between the rate of interest and the level of income. Okay, and there is the upward relationship that is shown by the LM curve. So let's say, see, this is the demand for money, so this is the supply for money, and this is the demand for money. Now the demand for money is downward sloping with the rate of interest. Okay, because the speculative demand for money has inverse relationship with the interest rate. So that's why the demand for money, here we are taking the rate of interest. So demand for money, that depends upon the level of income and rate of interest. So with the level of income, the demand for money will increase, but here we are not taking the level of income, we are taking the rate of interest in the diagram, right? So with the rate of interest, the demand for money is downward sloping. It has demand for money has inverse relationship with the interest rate. Okay, so here you can see that if, let's say, here we are taking the income, if the income is increasing, with the increase in income from Y to Y1, the demand for money will increase, because with the increase in income, the demand for money increases. The transaction demand for money increases with the increase in income. So that means the total demand for money will be increasing with the increase in income. Okay, so demand for money will increase. So with the level of income, this is the rate of interest, and with the increase in level of income, this is the rate of interest. Okay, so with the higher level of income, the demand for money is increasing. With the higher level of income, the demand for money is increasing. Okay, so rate of interest is also increasing. So LM curve shows the relationship between the level of income and the rate of interest where the money market is in equilibrium, where the money supply is equal to demand for money. Okay, so this is the LM curve shows that with the changing level of income, there is different rate of interest. The rate of interest is being determined by the equilibrium in the money market, where the demand for money is equal to supply for money. And LM curve is upward sloping because there is a positive relationship between the level of income and rate of interest in the money market. So here you can see now if the demand for money, let's say the demand for money, the level of income is same, but the demand for money has increased because of, let's say, exogenous variables such as better expectations. So people are very optimistic about the country. And because of their optimism, the demand for money is increasing. Okay, they are demanding more money for their transaction purpose or for other purposes, so they are demanding more, but the level of income is same. At the same level of income, if the demand for money is increasing, the rate of interest is increasing. So there is a leftward shift in the LM curve that is coming. So that means if the increase in the money demand is happening, there is a leftward shift. If the money demand is increasing because of other reasons, there is leftward shift in LM curve. Now if, let's say, the money demand is decreasing because there is pessimistic expectations from the economy, so demand for money is decreasing. The demand for money is decreasing with the same level of income. So when the demand for money is decreasing, the rate of interest is decreasing. So at the same level of income, the rate of interest has decreased. So that means this is the LM curve. So LM curve shifts rightward. LM curve shift rightward when there is decline in the demand for money. When there is decline in the demand for money with the same level of income, there is decline in the demand for money, the rate of interest decreases and the LM curve shift rightward. Okay. Increases in the money supply causes, now if the money supply is increasing, if the money supply was this and the money supply has increased, so you can understand that this was the money supply, this was the equilibrium where the demand for money is equal to supply for money. This is the rate of interest. So at this level of income, this was the rate of interest before, let's say. Okay, now money supply has increased, so this is the new money supply. With the increase in the money supply, the equilibrium is now at a lesser rate of interest. So the equilibrium is at a lesser rate of interest. So the LM curve will shift rightwards. So with the increase in the money supply, the LM curve is shifting rightwards. Okay, LM curve slopes upward and it shows that there is a positive or direct relationship between the rate of interest and the level of income. So only the C statement was correct, and with the increase in the money supply, if the money supply is increasing, let's say this is the equilibrium rate of interest at this level of income, this is the equilibrium rate of interest, so this is the LM curve. But now if the money supply is increasing, so equilibrium rate of interest at the same level of income, the equilibrium rate of interest has declined, is here. So this LM curve shifts rightward when the money supply is increasing. Okay, so this is the C statement was correct. Now coming to the next question, that is you have to tell me that LM curve is flatter if the interest elasticity of demand for money is dash and the income elasticity of demand for money is dash. So try to answer this question. LM curve is flatter like this, LM curve is steeper like this. So LM curve is flatter when the interest elasticity, when the demand for money is high interest elastic and when the demand for money is low income elastic. Okay, so demand for money, I hope you know that the demand for money, the transaction demand for money depends upon the level of income. The speculative demand for money depends upon the interest rate. Okay, transaction demand for money, if the income is increasing, transaction demand for money is increasing. If the income is decreasing, transaction demand for money will decrease. Income is decreasing, transaction demand for money will decrease. So the demand for money has a positive relationship with the income level, and the demand for money, speculative demand for money, if the interest rate is high, speculative demand for money is low. If the interest rate is low, speculative demand for money is high. So that means demand for money has a negative relationship with the interest rate. So demand for money is related to the level of income and the interest rate. Now if the demand for money has low income elasticity, that means with the increase in income, there is very less change that is coming in the demand for money, and if the demand for money is very highly interest elastic, that is with the change in the interest there is high change in the demand for money, so that is leading to flat LM curve. Okay, so when the flatter LM curve, the LM curve will be flatter when the demand for money is less responsive to the level of income. So that is income is low, the demand for money is low elastic or less elastic, the demand for money is less elastic to the level of income. Okay, so demand for money is less elastic or less responsive to the level of income, and the demand for money is very highly elastic to the rate of interest. So when the demand for money is less elastic to the level of income and demand for money is highly elastic to the rate of interest, this leads to flatter LM curve. When the demand for money is highly elastic to the level of income and when the demand for money is less elastic to the rate of interest, this leads to the steep LM curve. Okay, so there are the different conditions that I hope you will be able to remember. So now here the answer was B. Now coming to the next question, in the ISLM model, a decrease in the interest rate would be the result of which of the following? So first of all, this is your ISLM model. IS is downward sloping, LM is upward sloping. So IS shows the goods market equilibrium, LM curve shows the relationship between the rate of interest and level of income, where the money market is in equilibrium. So let's say that there is increase in government spending. So increase in government spending, if the government spending is increasing, that means the aggregate demand is increasing, that means level of income is increasing. And government expenditure is autonomous, that means with the same rate of interest, the level of income will increase. So this is going to shift the IS curve rightwards. If the IS curve is shifting rightwards, this will increase the rate of interest. But we do not want to increase the rate of interest. We want to decrease the rate of interest. Now decrease in taxes. Decrease in taxes means lump sum taxes are decreasing. Aggregate demand will increase. Because taxes are decreasing, consumption will increase, aggregate demand will increase, and the level of income will increase. So we do not this is going to shift the IS curve rightwards because the income is increasing. Okay. Or let's say the autonomous consumption. Autonomous consumption is increasing, aggregate demand will increase, the level of income will increase without any change in the level of rate of interest. So this is not what we want. Okay, so this option and this option is not correct. Now coming to the LM curve and IS curve, the money demand is increasing. If there is increase in the demand for money, this is going to increase the rate of interest. So LM curve is going to shift leftward. If the demand for money is increasing, LM curve will shift leftward, and this will increase the rate of interest. So this also we do not want. So last option is this, increase in money supply. So if the money supply is increasing, this is the demand for money. Before, the rate of interest was this. Now with the increased money supply, the rate of interest has declined. That means with the same, this is the LM curve. LM curve is if the increase in money supply leads to rightward shift in the LM curve. So here you can see that the rate of interest is declining because of the rightward shift in the LM curve. The rate of interest is declining. Okay, and the level of income is increasing. So this is the reason for decrease in the interest rate. So you need to have clarity first of all that the IS curve can be shifted because of the 5 reasons, that is autonomous consumption, autonomous investment, that is written as this, and government expenditure, the net exports, and the taxes. So if these are increasing, if government spending is increasing, if the autonomous consumption is increasing, autonomous investment, net exports are increasing, or the taxes are decreasing, this will lead to rightward shift in the IS curve. If autonomous consumption is decreasing, autonomous investment is decreasing, government expenditure is decreasing, net exports is decreasing, and taxes are increasing, this will lead to leftward shift in the IS curve. Okay, and if there is the rightward shift in the IS curve, increase in rate of interest, increase in level of income. Leftward shift in the IS curve, decrease in rate of interest, decrease in level of income. The LM curve, so if the money demand is increasing, demand for money is increasing, this will lead to leftward shift in the LM curve. Demand for money is decreasing, rightward shift in the LM curve. Okay. If the money supply is increasing, rightward shift in the LM curve. If the money supply is decreasing, leftward shift in the LM curve. Make your short notes, and you need to have the clarity about this. Okay. Now if the LM curve is shifting rightwards, this will decrease the rate of interest and increase the level of income. If the LM curve is shifting leftwards, this will increase the rate of interest and decrease the level of income. So you can draw the diagram, because if you know that if you have this diagram, IS curve, LM curve, if you know that okay, LM curve is shifting leftwards, you can just see that okay, what is happening, level of income is decreasing, rate of interest is increasing. Okay, so increase in the money supply, decrease in the rate of interest. So this is the idea. Okay, next question is, try to answer this question. If the total investment in a country does not depend on the rate of interest, then the shape of IS curve will be what, and dash policy will be ineffective in the country. So try to answer this question. Okay. Here, if the total investment in a country does not depend on the rate of interest, then the shape of IS curve. If the total investment in a country does not depend on the rate of interest, then the shape of IS curve will be. So first of all, investment does not depend upon the rate of interest. Investment, it doesn't depend upon the rate of interest. Whatever the rate of interest, the investment is not changing. That means if the interest rate, whatever the interest rate, the level of income will not also change. Okay. So whatever the rate of interest, the level of investment will not change. That means whatever the level of rate of interest, the level of income will also not change if the investment is not changing, because investment was affecting the aggregate demand, investment was affecting the level of income. So that means the IS curve is vertical. Okay, IS curve is vertical. Now if the IS curve is vertical, you can see that if the IS curve is vertical, this is the LM curve, this is the LM curve. The change in the LM curve, the change in the LM curve will not be effective. That means if the money supply is increasing or the money supply is decreasing, that means if there is expansionary monetary policy, the money supply is increasing. That is the rightward shift in the LM curve. If the contractionary monetary policy, the money supply is decreasing, so there is the leftward shift in the LM curve. Okay, so if the contractionary money supply, if the contractionary monetary policy is happening, money supply is decreasing, there is leftward shift in LM curve, but this is not affecting the output at all. Okay, so that means monetary policy is ineffective. The monetary policy is ineffective. The shifts in the LM curve is ineffective. But if the IS curve, let's say there is the fiscal policy that is adopted and there is expansionary fiscal policy due to which the IS curve is shifting rightwards. Okay, the IS curve, the government expenditure has increased, so expansionary fiscal policy, government expenditure has increased, this has increased the level of output. The government expenditure has increased, this has increased the aggregate demand, this has increased the level of output. Okay, so IS curve is shifting rightwards because with the same or with whatever rate of interest, the level of output is increasing. So LM curve or the money supply, like the monetary policy is ineffective, but the fiscal policy is very much effective as it can increase the level of output. So this is the idea. Okay, so here the monetary policy is ineffective while the fiscal policy is very much effective. Okay, next question is that if the economy is in the liquidity trap, which of the following will be correct? So first of all, if the economy is in the liquidity trap, that means the rate of interest is very low, that the demand for money has become horizontal. That means the demand for money has become perfectly interest elastic. Okay, so demand for money has become horizontal. That is, with the very low rate of interest, whatever the supply for money, the people will want to hold the complete supply. At the very low rate of interest, people will not want to deposit the money with the banks and such. So they will want to hold all the money that they can. So demand for money at the very low rate of interest, there is perfectly interest elastic or perfectly elastic demand for money. Okay, that is horizontal. So this is correct. Demand for money is perfectly interest elastic. In the liquidity trap, if the demand for money is horizontal, that means rate of interest cannot change, because whatever the supply for money in the liquidity trap situation, in this kind of situation, the rate of interest cannot change. So LM curve will also be horizontal because the rate of interest cannot change. So if the LM curve is horizontal, you can understand that this is IS curve. Now IS curve can shift, and if the expansionary fiscal policy is adopted, if the government expenditure is increasing, aggregate demand is increasing, the income level can increase. So if the expansionary fiscal policy is adopted, IS curve can shift, and IS curve is affected by the government policies, by the fiscal policy. The LM curve cannot shift. Okay, LM curve cannot shift. So in this, the monetary policy is actually ineffective and the fiscal policy is very much effective. So third statement is wrong. All the other statements are true. In the liquidity trap, the demand for money has become horizontal at the very low rate of interest. Okay, at very low rate of interest, the demand for money is horizontal. So LM curve is also horizontal because rate of interest cannot change. Now in this situation, the monetary policy is completely ineffective. Whatever the money supply, the rate of interest cannot change. The level of income cannot be affected, right? So money supply, the monetary policy is completely ineffective, while the fiscal policy IS curve can easily shift and the level of income can change with the IS curve. Okay, so here the third is incorrect, and that's why the right answer is E here. So this is the answer. I hope you were able to answer this question. If the LM curve is vertical, if the LM curve is vertical, that means if the LM curve is vertical, that means the demand for money is perfectly interest inelastic. So when demand for money is horizontal, it is perfectly interest elastic. When the demand for money is vertical, that is, it is perfectly interest inelastic. Okay, so with the change in the rate of interest, there will be no effect on the demand for money. So that means the LM curve will also be vertical. So in this case, the fiscal policy will be ineffective. Whatever the change in the IS curve, whatever the change in the fiscal policy, the fiscal policy will be ineffective. While here the monetary policy, the LM curve is vertical, so the monetary policy will be effective. If the increase in money supply is happening, the rightward shift in the LM curve will happen, and the level of income will increase completely. So I hope this is clear. So yes, so when the LM curve is vertical, when the demand for money is vertical, when it is perfectly interest inelastic, the LM curve is also vertical. In this case, the monetary policy is effective and the fiscal policy that is affecting the IS curve is ineffective. So I hope this is clear. And so this was the homework question that I have given you yesterday. I hope you got the answer. So what was the answer of this homework question? What was the answer of this homework question? Anyone? So here you have to calculate the NDP at FC, right? So first you are going to calculate the GDP at MP, because here the expenditure method you have to use. So private final consumption expenditure 8,000. C was the answer. Okay, so all of you have to tell me, only Nachiket solved this question. Here you have to you are using expenditure method, so GDP at MP that you have had to calculate. So GDP at MP, that is private final consumption expenditure. So you are taking the consumption expenditure, the government expenditure, plus the gross domestic capital formation. So that is gross domestic fixed capital formation plus change in stock. Gross domestic fixed capital formation plus change in stock, plus net exports. Net exports is exports minus imports. So this is the formula that you had to use. Okay, so you were calculating the GDP at MP. Once you had calculated the GDP at MP, from the GDP at MP you have to go to the NDP at FC. Okay, so from the gross to net you have to deduct the depreciation, that is, you have to deduct the consumption of fixed capital. So this is depreciation, that you are consuming the fixed capital, so this is depreciation. Domestic is same. From the market price you have to go to the fixed cost, so that is, from the market you have to go to the factor cost. So factor cost means minus indirect taxes and plus subsidies. So this was the formula that you had to use. Now I have told you the formula, I have told you that how to use it. Now I want you all to answer in the comment section that yes, this is right or not. Okay, so you have to tell me in the comment section that this is right or not. So Nachiket is saying it is 8840. So do tell me in the comment section that all of you have got this answer or not. Okay, so this is it from my side. Do tell me that out of the 25 questions, how many questions were you able to answer rightly? And do tell me that the homework question, have you got the answer C or not, or you have got some other answer. Okay, so I want you to first of all calculate, because I am getting only one answer, that means only one person has solved this, so that is not correct now. So all of you tell me that this is the right answer or not, and tomorrow we will have the clarity. Okay, now I also want to show you the if you have any query regarding the SEBI Grade A, if you want to know more about the examination, you can go to the free materials, you can go to the edutab.co.in. Okay, you can go to the free materials and you can go to the exam information and such. So if you go to the exam information in all categories, if you go to the SEBI Grade A, you can know more about the exam, you can have more clarity about the exam. If you are confused about the strategy that you should adopt, so you can refer to the strategy. Okay, even the success stories, that how the people have been able to achieve their dream of becoming the SEBI Grade A officer, so you can know from this also. So the blocks are given to you at free of cost. This is for your clarity about the examination. If you have confusion about any particular parameter, so you can read more through these blocks. Okay, so if you go in the edutab.co.in, you just have to go to the free materials, and like in the free material you just have to go to the blocks, and at the end of the page, if you want to search at a particular area like the exam information, just go to the exam category. Okay, so this is it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you were able to answer most of the questions, and do tell me that out of 25 marks, how many marks you were able to get. Out of 25 questions, how many questions were you able to solve? Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed today's session and you were able to learn from today's session. You were able to grasp the topics, and you were able to grasp the questions, as well as you were able to understand that where you are missing out and what topic you are lacking at. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to bring some more questions on ISLM model, and then we will continue with the next topics. So this is it from my side. Thank you so much for attending the session, and let's meet tomorrow for the next session. Thank you very much for attending the session, everyone.